Welcome back to the Cello Brain channel, where we talk about how cello skills are life skills. Music really can connect to every area of life, whether it's intuitive eating, business skills, sales and marketing, exercise, money management, and something that I know that you want to be the absolute best you possibly can be at, parenting. That's what we're talking about today. This episode is for you if you want your kids to play music one day, but they're maybe a little too young, or if you have kids currently learning an instrument, taking lessons, and you want them to continue, or thirdly, if you have teenagers that you want to connect to and help them feel really understood. Teenagers that you want to have a really good relationship, every stage. This episode is especially for the parent that is feeling like they are depleted, like they're not filling up their own cup. So self-care fills up your own cup. When you give love to yourself, then you can actually have more love to give to your kids. Taking care of yourself is something that is really hard for parents to do sometimes because they feel guilty, especially for women. I am a mom. I have a 13-month-old, and I understand this so well. You worry that if you spend time by yourself and doing something for yourself, that you're neglecting your child. And I know what it feels like to want to feel like you have to sacrifice everything for them because you love them so deeply. You want them to thrive. And this is noble. You can really have both. I'm coming from a place where I've experienced it. As a mom, you have to be very intentional with how you take care of yourself, because I have seen it happen in other situations where the mom takes care of herself and the kids are neglected, and you don't want that. But there's actually a way that you can do both. You can make sure that your kids are so well taken care of, that they are so loved, and at the same time, take care of yourself. So because you often sacrifice everything for your kids, we're going to start with you. We're going to start with the last thing that I mentioned in our list of topics for today. We are going to start with how to fill up your cup first so that you can be the parent that you want to be. Start from a place of calmness and gratitude for yourself and confidence in who you are. That's where we're going to start because you matter. You're the one keeping your child alive. And if you are not taking care of yourself, then you won't be able to take care of your child as well as you want to. So the very first step to fill up your own cup first is mindset. Now, the cool part about this is it doesn't take any time. If you start believing these three things, then you're already starting to take care of yourself. Ready? So number one, first belief that I want you to start believing. I am worth taking care of. You are worth taking care of. Number two, when I take care of myself, I'm a better parent. Let me rephrase it on your perspective. When you take care of yourself, you're a better parent. Number three, it's possible to take care of yourself without it taking a ton of time. And that one is the key. That is super important to not feeling guilty in the process. There's actually a way that you can take care of yourself while your kids are in the room. Sometimes we think about self-care as like go and take a bubble bath for an hour with a nice lemonade. Oh, that sounds delightful. I should go do that. But another way that you may think of taking care of yourself is go for a spa day or spend hours away from your kids. It actually doesn't have to be this way. You can have the feeling of a whole day's vacation in just 15 minutes. This is possible for you with music. Music is the language of emotion. It's a language without words. So for you, this means that you can feel comforted and relaxed and peaceful, and your kids are getting the message that learning is a lifelong journey. It's a real win-win, and that's what we're talking about in today's episode. By learning an instrument, you develop your confidence. And who doesn't want a confident parent? The image that I see for yourself is your 17-year-old kid pointing at a family photo of you all playing instruments together and saying with pride, "That's my mom. She started the cello when she was 33, and that's the reason that I still play. She inspired us and gave us the image, she painted the vision that music can give joy to our family and bring us together." Did you know that music can actually change the brainwaves of people playing together? It takes the brainwaves and puts them in sync. An article that I read this morning on the Scientific American Journal said that brainwaves go into sync when groups play music together. Neural waves in certain brain regions of people listening to a musical performance and playing together match each other. The greater the synchrony, the greater the enjoyment. You can see this as your family coming together in alignment over a similar belief that being together matters. And you want your family unit to be as strong as possible, right? So a couple of more benefits to you specifically learning music as a parent is new skills allows you to develop your own potential and feel that you are actually achieving your dreams, things that you might have quit when you were a child. One of my favorite quotes from Ed Milet is, "One of the most insidious forms of child neglect is a parent who doesn't chase their dreams and potential." So the word insidious, I looked it up because I wanted to make sure that I understand this quote really well. Insidious means proceeding in a gradual, subtle way, but with harmful effects. So when you neglect your own dreams and your own potential, it's something that creeps in, and you may not notice it until your kids have moved out of the house. When you neglect your own dreams and potential, maybe quitting an instrument when you yourself were a teenager and never continuing, that's actually a disservice to your kids. You want them to fulfill their potential, but if you're not fulfilling your own potential, then they will never see the vision. Think about that. Now here's the best part. Playing the cello actually develops your parenting skills, like patience, self-discipline, problem solving, staying calm under pressure. It's all developed through playing the cello. And it forces you to stay focused on one thing. This is where that little mini vacation part comes into play. So as a mom of a 13-month-old, I know what multitasking feels like. You may be folding the laundry and watching him play, make sure he doesn't get into the kitchen cupboards. Or you might be replying to a couple of emails while cooking dinner, while making sure that they're not falling down the stairs. There's so much going on in your brain. But when you play the cello for just 15 minutes, you get a chance to just focus on one thing. This alone might be the thing that makes you feel peace. The peace and the white space that this can give you, it can feel like a mini vacation. An article that I read just last week demonstrated that people's thoughts actually are more visual when they are listening to music or playing music. The article said, when listening to music, people's thoughts are generally more visual, with mind wandering or daydreams tending to occur more often in the form of visual images than in the form of words. So this means for you is when you close your eyes while playing even just one note on the cello, you'll find it easier to imagine the black sand beach shore from your recent Hawaii vacation and feeling as peaceful as you did laying in the sunshine on that warm beach is what you want to experience every day, right? So that brings us to our third part. Parents who want their kids to start music at one age. So when I was 5 years old, my mom actually started the cello. She was 35 at the time, and I remember just watching her play and the sound of the cello just filling our living room. You know what I would do actually when I was 5 years old is I would take the tie from her bathrobe and while she was practicing in that focus mode, I would tie her to the banister and try to create like some sort of swing. We had these really tall stairs, like a tall ceiling, in the house that that I grew up in, and I would tie her to the banister, and then she would look up from this focus mode and realize that she's been tied to the banister through her bathrobe. And just spending that time with her solidified my love of music. It made me see what was possible and instilled a love of music in me that nothing else did. She showed me the vision. I wanted to be like her when she started playing music. So if you want your kids to play music one day, this is the very thing that you must be doing in order to instill this music love in them. Play music in the house, like on CDs, on YouTube. Play an instrument yourself so that they see it. They see how the music is created, and they become really curious and fascinated by it. Playing cello also shows your kids the value of always learning. You get to leave this legacy of the love of learning in your children's lives. And wanting them to always be learning in their lives, that's something that you want for them, right? I know as a parent that I do. I want my little boy to always be learning and love learning. See it as the most wonderful thing that he could spend his time at, developing his brain, staying sharp, so that he can be there for his own grandchildren one day, feeling that sharpness and communicating with them and making sure that they know that they're loved because he has the words to say it, because he's been developing his brain his entire life. That's what I want for him. And I know that that's what you want for your kids too. Okay, next part. Maybe you have kids who are currently playing music and are arguing with you to stop. You feel that it's a drag to get them to practice. They are constantly asking you, can I just be done already? And I understand this. Like when I was 13, I actually almost quit the cello. But you know what kept me going? Is I had people around me, role models, who had continued with the cello, and they showed me what was possible. They showed me the beauty of freedom that comes when you just continue playing for years and years, and the accumulative effect of the skill building. This made me inspired to continue. And if you go back to, I believe it's episode number 1 of the podcast, you can hear the whole story. How I almost quit when I was 13. And you can see how and what actually changed to help me continue. So the other benefit to starting an instrument yourself when you have a child who is struggling to practice is you'll be able to understand what they're going through better. They will actually see through your actions that you understand what they're going through, and you'll be able to practice with them. Studies have shown that parents who practice with their kids actually stick with music so much longer. My mom practiced with my sisters and I all through growing up, and this made a massive difference. She knows how to play piano and cello, and that made a world of a difference because when she saw something that I was struggling with, she could actually give me tips and ways to practice, and she would be there in the lessons and engaged. An engaged parent inspires kids to continue. When they see that their parents believe in them, they rise to the standard and follow through on how their parents see them. Kids know what you think of them. They have this sixth sense of, my mom believes in me, so I can do this. And when you can fuel that belief with action, that's when you start seeing changes in them, and they start wanting to do it themselves. They go and practice. And here's a very fun bonus. Imagine playing duets with your kids. That's actually why the newest student in the program in my music school started. She wants to play duets with her kids who are also in music. And isn't that a beautiful way to connect with each other? You get to experience that circle of sound in your own home and create memories. And don't you want your kids to have the most beautiful memories growing up? I know I do. Okay, finally, parents of teenagers, I see you. The image that I see for you, that I've mentioned already, is your 17-year-old pointing at a family photo saying, "That's my mom," so proudly to her friends. And as she's looking at that photo, she tells her friends, my mom started the cello in her 30s, and that's why I started, that's why I'm still playing. You can be that inspiration to her. And it starts now. So teenagers have an underdeveloped prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex is for emotion processing and for decision making. And if you have a teenager, you probably experience this on a daily basis. They are highly emotional. They have a hard time making good decisions. But this is the very thing that you want them to be able to do. You want them to make good quality decisions about who to go out with, what to study, what college to go to. A lot of the biggest decisions you make in your life are done around the age of 17 or 18 with an underdeveloped brain. When they learn music and they continue playing music all throughout their teenage years, their prefrontal cortexes are thicker. Prefrontal cortex is more developed than other kids their age. This means they have better grades, they have better logical reasoning skills, and they have better emotional processing. Furthermore, they actually have a way to vent that emotion, get rid of some of that excess emotion that's causing all of these roller coasters. You know, when I was actually, let's say 13 to 15, like ages 13 to 15, the cello was a massive reason why I did not go crazy. I would have a fight with my mom, and then I would go immediately to my cello and my journal, vent about it in words, and vent about it through music. I would play angrily. I would play the most intense piece that I could possibly think of. The emotion of what I'm feeling would match the emotion in the music, and then I would actually feel better. I would feel understood. And it was like the music was just holding me and letting me be with the emotion for a little bit without the consequences or the fear that I'd be hurting someone with my words. Now, your teenager might be in the same boat. What they really want is to feel understood. And that's what they really think they want. What you might want them to do is study harder or make really good decisions about who they spend time with. They are thinking, I want to feel understood, even if this is subconscious. So my number one thing that I would say to you about this is go and ask them how they're doing and ask them if they feel understood in what they're going through. Now, if they are in a place where they want a new hobby, suggest the cello, because this could be a hobby that can give them better grades. It can help them make high quality decisions. I know you want that for them, and they get to feel understood in the process. There are spots for teenagers in Inner Voice Academy. Just recently, one student did an exam at his school, and his grades just skyrocketed when he went into the program. He recently did an audition, and it went incredibly well. He's one of the first chairs in his school orchestra. He is now 16 years old, and I'm so proud. I could see how he changed as a 14-year-old to a 16-year-old emotionally, the way that he communicated, how his grades went up. It was a fascinating journey to watch, and your teenager could have that too. Now, just imagine if you started the cello at the same time as them and the kind of connection that you could have. I know it's hard to find common ground with teenagers. I remember being that teenager and thinking my parents were just not cool, not like the least cool person in the entire world. But if you want the best possible life for your teenager, and you know that being in their parents' lives and you being in their lives is going to help them get there, what if the cello could help you spend quality time together that will help them become someone you love spending time with as they get older? What better way than to create music together? So if you are a parent, I would just love to know what category you fall into in the 4 areas that I talked about today. Do you want your kids to learn a musical instrument one day? Do your kids already play an instrument? Do you have teenagers that you want to be there for? Or are you just a parent looking to fill up your own cup and wanting to feel like you can go on a mini vacation every day? Let me know. You can actually text the show now. Head to the show notes and click the little button, text the show, I believe it's what it says, or send us a message. And I would just love to know what your takeaways were and what category you fall into. Can't wait to hear from you. Now, if this episode resonated with you and you would like to actively experience how music can change your brain and your family in just 5 days, then join the Upgrade Your Brain Software Challenge. It's going to start on June 17th, and every morning for 5 days, you are going to have a training with me on various areas of your brain. So we will start with your emotional brain, we'll go through business skills, we'll go through your musical brain, help you see what musicality is, your legacy, your inner voice, so much more. We are going to upgrade your brain to a $1 billion brain software. Now, this is the training section. Everyone, general admission, gets access to this. You'll also have access to the recordings all the way to the Sunday of that week. Now, if you would like to ask me questions, get some coaching on these topics or anything that you are struggling with, if you want to experience a customized version of this training, then upgrade to VIP admission. VIP will put you in the Zoom room, an exclusive room where you can start showing up as the kind of person who takes care of their entire brain, their entire picture of health, and creates a legacy for their family. If that's you, sign up for the challenge. Admission ends on June 16th. So if you're listening to this episode a little bit later, you probably still have time. But join us before June 16th when admission closes. All the details are in the show notes. Can't wait to see you there.